Hi yogis, today I'm going to be offering you a heart opening vinyasa flow practice. We're going to be opening up through our Anahata heart chakra, do some back bending, working our way into full locust pose. If we have time, we'll be working our way into camel pose. So the props we will need are blocks. We will start lying on our backs. Block set up, this bottom block long ways, and this bottom block wide ways, top block long ways, and we will come to our backs, grounding down, wrapping our shoulder blades around that bottom block, and letting the center of our skull rest in the middle of that top block. It might take a little bit of wiggling around here. And then I like to plant soles of my feet flat on the mat, lift hips up, lengthen tailbone to the front of the room, and then set those hips back down. And then it's yogi's choice. You can keep legs bent to the knees here, or you can stretch your legs long to the front of the room. So we just settle in. Let's take a nice deep inhale, breath in through the nose, and let it go out the mouth. As we practice today, opening up through our heart chakra, just continuing to focus on our breathing here in our first few moments of our practice. Slow, smooth inhales, expanding through belly, chest, ribs, and on the exhale, letting that belly button drop further towards the earth. Gently starting to open up through those collarbones, letting shoulder heads drop further towards your mat. Just breathing here. Slow, smooth inhales to a count of 3. And slow, steady exhales to a count of 3. As we turn our attention inward today, just checking in, taking note of those areas that feel particularly tight or stuck today. Sending extra breath, extra love to those tight, stuck areas. Feeling the weight of the earth supporting us. Bringing our awareness to this present moment. Just calming the mind, stilling the body with our breath. Letting go of any tension in the face, the jaw, softening around the eyes with each exhale. So letting those shoulder heads drop a little bit further towards your mat with each exhale. Let's take about 2 more breaths here. Finishing up, bottom of this last exhale breath. Just gently rolling off to one side, pushing our blocks off of our mat, keeping them close by. And then coming back flat on our mats. We're going to bring both feet, both legs straight to the sky, pointing and flexing both feet here, rolling those ankles around. Legs apart for wide-legged forward fold on our backs, breathing space through inner groins. Nice big inhale and exhale here. And then gently closing those thighs together, bending both legs at the knees. Let's go ahead and wrap arms around both shins. Hugging knees tight to chest, rocking side to side, massaging that low back into the earth. And then rocking forwards and backwards along that spine. And eventually rocking up, rolling over shins. Go ahead and bring it into our tabletop on our hands and knees, all fours. So hands shoulder width apart, knees hip width apart. Let's do a nice stretch here before we work into our cat-cow. So abs engaged, neutral spine, gaze top of the mat. We're going to inhale, right arm long to the front of the room, and we're going to lengthen, stretching that left leg to the back wall. You can stay here. If you want to take it further, you can bend that left leg at the knee, reaching around, capturing top of left foot with right hand here. Breathing space through our heart chakra, through that left quadricep. And then releasing right hand, left leg back to the earth. Take that stretch on the other side. Lengthening left arm long to the front of the room, stretching right leg back. Abs engaged. You can stay here or you can bend that right leg at the knee. Reaching around, capturing top of right foot with left hand. Gaze forward, crown of the head up. And then releasing that left hand, that right leg back. Let's go ahead and work into our cat-cows here. So in our tabletop, on our hands and knees, we're going to inhale into cow pose, chin up, collarbones wide, tops of the feet press into the earth. Crown of the head lifted. And then as we exhale into our cat pose, doming our back, head drops. Separating through those back shoulder blades. You can take cat-cow at your own pace here. Really widening through collarbones as we inhale on the cow and then separating through back shoulder blades, exhaling on the cat. It's gently starting to open up through our heart chakra. It's extension and flexion of our spine, preparing us for our standing poses. And last, cat-cow. Bringing that spine back to neutral, head, neck, spine in one line. Gaze top of the mat, abs engaged, tucking toes under, lifting hips to sky for downward facing dog. As we push the floor away, we can slowly start to pedal those feet out, tailbone to the sky here. Pedaling those feet out, right, left, right, left. As we gaze at the back wall, those heels disappearing behind those toes. No tension in head, neck, or shoulders here. Come up on both toes, take a deep bend in both knees, laying our belly on our thighs, really pushing the floor away, tailbone to sky, inhaling here, and as we exhale, straightening legs, bringing heels back to the earth, and then bringing it forward to a plank pose. You're welcome to drop to your knees in plank. If you're in traditional plank, really pushing those heels to the back wall, head, neck, spine in one long line. Exhaling back to downward facing dog. Deep inhale and exhale here. Inhaling forward to plank. And then with those elbows tucked in tight next to ribs, let's slowly bend at the elbows, and we're going to lower and release all the way down into our mats. Head down, face down for some low cobras here. So hands next to ribs, legs and feet together. Exhaling out on the inhale, lifting up, stretching crown of the head. Here in our first low cobra, shoulder heads away from ears, kneecaps lifted. Exhaling back, face down on the mat. Let's do another low cobra. Inhaling, stretching crown of the head forward into the low back bend. You can stay here in low cobra. If you'd like to take full cobra, you can place hands flat. You can straighten the arms, making it more of a low back stretch here. And releasing all the way back down to the mat. Placing hands next to ribs, tucking toes under. Let's take it back to a plank pose. And then release back to downward facing dog. Big inhale and exhale here. Coming up on both toes, a deep bend in both knees. Let's slowly walk those feet up to meet those hands. Bring it into our forward fold, our Uttanasana. So feet hip width apart, bending over, hinging at the hips. We're going to take our ragdoll pose here, so you can have hands to mat or your blocks. You can hook arms at elbows, shifting our weight from foot to foot, side to side, swaying back and forth. Should be able to shake that head yes and no in ragdoll pose. And then coming to stillness in the center, slowly, abs still engaged, rolling up, vertebrae by vertebrae, until we find our way, head and neck last, finding our way into our mountain pose, our Tadasana, the top of our mats. All right, taking just a moment here to check in with our feet, making sure we're standing in all four corners of our feet, long and tall in our spine, abs engaged, shoulder heads rolled away from ears. Inhaling, sweeping arms overhead, fingertips to the sky, we reach up. Exhaling, we fold all the way over. Inhaling, halfway lift our Ardha Uttanasana. Exhaling, planting both hands top of the mat, taking it back to our plank pose. Elbows hugged in tight as we bend into the chaturanga. And then inhaling, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhaling back to downward facing dog. That's our vinyasa flow. You're welcome to skip the flow and just go straight back to downward facing dog. Big inhale and exhale here. Coming up on both toes, a deep bend in both knees. Walk, step, or hop, both feet top of the mat. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, we fold over. Inhaling, rooting down to rise up. Sweeping fingertips to the sky for sun salute. Exhaling, hands through heart center prayer. Let's Let's do that one more time. Inhaling, we sweep up. Exhaling, we fold over, Uttanasana. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, planting hands, top of the mat. We take it through the vinyasa. Upward facing dog, shoulder heads away from ears. Exhaling back to downward facing dog. Big inhale and exhale here as we push tailbone to the sky. Inhaling that right leg backing up towards the back wall. Flexing that back right foot. And then stepping our right front foot through in between our hands. Spinning that back left foot down. That back left foot at a 45-degree angle, bringing it up into our warrior one. Inhaling, arms up. Get on this side. And then we're going to open to our warrior two. Staying low in that front leg, tailbone tucked under. And then inhaling up. Exhaling to warrior two. Inhaling. Exhaling, our gaze over that front middle finger in warrior two. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling, we stay here, we flip front palm to the sky, we reach forward, then reach back for our reverse warrior, opening up to this right side. And then straightening this right front leg, hinging at the hips. We're going to bring it to triangle pose. Right hand comes down to right shin or right ankle, or you can have that hand on a block. Left arm reaches to the sky here in our triangle pose. Opening up through this left side. And then interlacing hands behind back, shifting all of our weight into that front right foot. Bringing it into warrior three, that back left leg lifts up. Shining our heart chakra forward. Balancing, strengthening, holding. Those toes pointed down, that inner thigh rolling up towards the sky. Beautiful work, yogis. And then releasing both hands to the top of the mat as we take it through the vinyasa flow. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, back through downward facing dog. Big inhale and exhale here. Inhaling, left leg towards the back wall, those toes pointed down. And then as we exhale, stepping our left front foot through for warrior one, that back right foot planted down at the 45-degree angle. Inhaling, arms up. Strong warrior one. Opening to warrior two. Tucking that tailbone under. And then our little flow here, inhaling up. Exhaling back to warrior two. Inhaling, our gaze over that front middle finger in warrior two. Moving collectively with our breath. We stay here, we flip front palm to the sky, we reach forward in the back, reverse warrior, opening up to this left side, stretching, breathing. And then we're going to straighten this left front leg as we bring it to triangle pose, so hinging at the hips, left hand down to left shin or left ankle or block, right arm to the sky. Here in our triangle pose. Our arms in one long line of energy. And then interlacing those hands behind our back as we shift our weight into that front left foot. Right back leg comes up for warrior three. That inner thigh rolled up towards the sky, flexing the back right foot, shining our heart chakra forward. Beautiful work, yogis. And then releasing both hands, top of the mat as we take it through the vinyasa, inhaling, upward facing dog. If you want to skip the vinyasa, you can go straight back to downward facing dog. Big inhale and exhale here. Inhaling, right leg back and up towards that back wall. Slowly stepping right front foot through. Bringing it up into warrior one. Opening the warrior two. And now we're going to set up for a wide-legged forward fold. So edges of feet parallel with edges of the mat. That butt and tailbone tucked down towards the floor. Arms out, wrists over ankles, inhaling up. Exhaling, we fold over, right hand on the mat in front of us. Left arm opens up into the twist. Wrapping left arm around our waist. Elongating through that spine. Sticking that tailbone to the back wall here. Hugging those inner thighs together. And then left hand comes down on the mat, right arm opens up as we twist on the other side, wrapping right arm around our waist. Opening up through this right shoulder. And then releasing both hands to hips as we slowly bring torso up. A little bit of core work there. Taking it back to warrior two, facing the front of the room. Circling hands, top of the mat. We're going to bring it to a side plank pose on this right side. Left arm reaches long overhead. Nice work, yogis. And then releasing that left hand back down to plank, taking it through the vinyasa. Upward facing dog, exhaling to downward facing dog. Tailbone to the sky, big inhale and exhale here. Inhaling, left leg back and up towards that back wall. And then slowly stepping our left front foot through as we bring it up into warrior one. Arms up. Opening to warrior two. And then bringing it to wide-legged forward fold, so edges of feet parallel with edges of the mat. Butt and tailbone tucked down, interlacing hands behind our back. Or if you have reverse namaste in your practice, you're welcome to take that. Shoulder heads away from ears as we inhale up. Exhaling, folding over. I love this stretch because we stretch through both our shoulders and our legs. It's breathing. Opening up our heart chakra. And then abs engaged, slowly bringing torso up to the top. Taking it back to warrior two. Facing the front of the room, circling both hands down top of the mat as we bring it into our side plank pose. On this other side, right arm reaches long overhead. Beautiful work, yogis, and releasing right hand top of the mat for plank, taking it through the vinyasa. Upward facing dog. Exhaling back to downward facing dog. And from here, let's just go ahead and release all the way down into our bellies. Head down, face down. Getting ready here for our locust pose, our series of locust poses. All right. So So we're head down, face down on our mats. We've got hands next to ribs. We got legs and feet zipped up like one big cobra tail. Exhaling all the air out. And on the inhale, lifting up, stretching crown of the head to the front of the room, hovering those hands and feet, building our core strength here in our first locust pose. Beautiful. Release, let it go. Look to the right, arms down long. Just let that first locust pose go. All right. Second locust, head down, face down. We've got legs and feet zipped up like one big cobra tail. We're going to interlace our hands behind our back, really pulling shoulder heads away from ears, exhaling out. And on the inhale, lifting up, stretching crown of the head and toes and opposing in opposite directions, pushing that pubic bone into the mat, building strength in our core here. And then you can release, look to the left, arms down long. Just let that second locust pose go. And now it's time for our peak pose, full locust. So head down, face down, legs together, legs bent to the knees. You can reach around and grab for tops of your feet. You can use a strap and use the strap if you can't reach the tops of your feet. Exhaling all the air out. On the inhale, lifting up into our full locust, our deepest back bend, our deepest heart opener, shining our heart chakra forward. Crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And then releasing, let it go. Oh, so good, yogis. Look to the right, arms down long. Just let that last locust pose go. And then from here, just rolling over onto our backs. Let's do reclined pigeon, thread the needle here. So bringing that left ankle onto right knee, reaching around, wrapping hands around that left thigh as we pull that left thigh towards our chest. Just nice. Giving some love here to that right hip. Breathing. And then releasing for our reclined pigeon on the opposite side, taking left ankle onto right knee, reaching through, wrapping hands around that right thigh as we pull that right thigh towards our chest. Just making some space through that left outer hip. Just letting go of something with each exhale. And then hugging both knees tight to our chest, giving ourselves one final squeeze of love. And this is also the time you should take any final movements, any final poses or postures you need to take before getting into our most important pose. Please do not skip our most important pose, our final resting pose of Shavasana. All the hard work you've just done the last 28 minutes, this is where it settles in and it seals in our practice for the next 24 hours. So do not skip our final resting pose as we come into our resting corpse pose, Shavasana. My heart is open to receive the energy of love. I radiate this essence. I walk my path with ease and grace. I listen to my heart and honor its connection to the heart of others. I allow love to fill me up and guide me in all of my actions. I gracefully move to the rhythm of life. Slowly starting to wiggle your fingers and toes, rolling those wrists and ankles around, bringing life back into your limbs and your body. You can gently stretch your arms long overhead, like you're just waking up from a deep sleep. And then you can gently roll over onto your favorite side and push yourself up to a comfortable seated position with your head coming up last. Our hands gathered together in Anjali Mudra at Heart Center Prayer. Just being grateful for all of the many blessings that we have and sending this gratitude out to all beings everywhere. Thank you for letting me guide you today. Namaste. Thank you, my friends.